Oh, my little friend. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, now. Hello, I'm Charlie Simons. I host a show called Do Not Talk because I do talk about two things you're never supposed to talk about: politics and religion. I just got back from being away for a week on assignment under orders. I serve in the military. I can't even talk about what branch or in what capacity because I'm a political pundit as well. And they don't like that. The military doesn't like, especially being a conservative and going, Trump? Absolutely. Fantastic. You're not supposed to do that. Gotta stay, gotta stay neutral, don't you, Spike? Anyway, my little guy here has been particularly needy ever since I got back. He's just got to be, he's clinging to me all the time, this little guy. And he was never like that before. So maybe it's his advanced age. When I adopted him back in 2016, he was already an adult then. And so I have no idea how old he is, but got a lot of gray in the muzzle. That was all black. And now look at it. But anyway, his name is Spike. If you don't have a dog, I suggest you get one. Can't even imagine life without them. Once you have them in your life and let them be part of your pack, don't just push them out in the backyard. Go, okay, guard the house. Please don't do that. They're very, very social animals and they're pack animals, and you got to be their alpha. You got to be their pack leader, and they will give you such loyalty. It'll change their world and yours. So adopt. That's the best advice I can give anybody. Don't do the whole breed thing. Oh, I love the French bulldogs. They're so cute. Good. Shell out $5,000 and get a dog that's prone to health problems because of all the inbreeding. That's what you get with the purebreds. So give me a mutt any day, baby. SPCA all the way. I am always fun. I'm always fun. I'm always fun to talk to. No, what? Do over. Start again. Take two. It's always fun to talk to Sam Anthony. He's my guest today on Do Not Talk. All right, Spike. All right. All right. This guy crawled up on my lap. He did this whole obstacle course that he jumping up on the couch and moving his way over, and kept inching his way over so he could be right here. And there he is. All right. I'll let him stay. Anyway, Sam Anthony has started a news platform, and it is all about free speech, all about giving the conservatives a voice that have had their voice taken away by the mainstream media, by social media. A lot of us moved over to podcasting. I did during the whole COVID shutdown, lost my job with the Salem Media Group. Great gig. I was going to retire with them. Christian, conservative company. But when in California, where I am, Governor Hairdo shut down all the businesses. That's all their advertising, the Salem Media Group. And all their advertising suddenly went away, and they're commercially licensed stations, so they can't take donations or anything like K-Love could. And this was a contemporary Christian music station I was doing the morning show on. And boom, the whole corporation found themselves in serious trouble and upside down like that. They had to do something drastic. So 300 of us lost our jobs all across the nation, all of us on air, folks, by the way. And it was about that time I thought, well, maybe I should try this podcasting thing. And I've been doing it ever since. And I'm grateful because I love it. I feel like I'm actually contributing far more than just saying, and that's the latest from Luke Combs on 1019 The Wolf Country. I'm doing more. I'm doing something that has significance to it, something that can change hearts and minds, hopefully for a way that I've discovered through my life and my travels and travails and trials is a better way. First of all, giving your life to Christ Jesus, game changer. The other one is I'm fully on board with the whole conservative values. I'm a conservative. I'm a Teddy Roosevelt conservative. I'm all about the environment. I'm all about conserve what we have been blessed with and take care of it. Don't lose your mind. Let's actually conserve family. Let's preserve God, family, country. That's my mind of being a conservative. So we've never had a platform really until Rush Limbaugh came along in the early 90s, late 80s. He started in Sacramento, as a matter of fact, where I am out of now in the Sacramento area. He was on KFBK radio, 1510 AM. I remember their billboards when I was the 7 to midnight guy on a screaming top 40 radio station playing the latest from Madonna and Prince and Duran Duran, K-pop 93.5. There were these billboards in Sacramento that said, "Don't you just want to punch Rush in the mouth?" That was their billboard campaign promoting Rush Limbaugh. He got his big start at KFBK radio in Sacramento. From there, the rest is history, and he's one of my heroes, even still, and I miss him. Other than that, what do we have? What do we have as conservatives? He started when there was cable television at the time, but it was mostly ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, PBS. That's it. That was it. And they're all frickin' on the left, except for Fox. But Fox wasn't really political. I mean, shoot, remember their Sunday night lineup? It was like all cartoons with the Simpsons and everything else, and then Family Guy and what was that one? The guy from Texas. Anyway, doesn't matter. You get the point. Fox wasn't involved politically at all. They were more interested in sports, even though their owner, Rupert Murdoch, who started Fox, definitely a conservative. I wish his kids were as conservative as he is or was. He's still alive, isn't he? I don't know. Let's ask Sam Anthony. Let's get him in the mix. He's waiting for me to shut up and bring him in. Hit it. Man, it's always fun to see you, Sam. Hello, buddy.
How you doing, Charlie? Good to see you.
I'm fantastic. Back from my my tour of duty, so to speak. Been away for a while, and now I'm back, and you're my first guest after having come back. Yeah. So when you get put on orders, you got to go. You got to go, even if it's like, but wait a minute, I got a show planned with Sam. Nope, you're out of here.
Just have it me. I'll take care of it. But I have to ask you, what are you doing when you go? I mean, you don't have to give us details, but like, I just envision the wire and you're crawling in the mud. Is that the stuff?
I've done that. I've done that because we have to be trained for any and all scenarios. But no, I'm what they call a PAO, which is a public affairs officer. So I'm just taking pictures now of all the other dudes doing that. Taking pictures, shooting video, writing articles, that kind of stuff.
Hey,
yeah, that's me. So
you're a news reporter, a military news reporter.
Yeah, basically. I've carried weapons and I'm trained on them, but now my weapon is a Sony A65 cheapy little camera. Try to do the best I can with what I have. So Sam,
yes,
I got so many questions. You and I, every time we're on, because we're both media guys. Well, you didn't start out as a media guy, but you are now with your news. And
yes,
you're not writing the stories, you're not creating the content, but you've built a platform that I love. I think is invaluable. And you are doing what I was saying during the beginning of COVID. We as conservatives better start building up our own way to communicate with each other and to get news, because trust me, there's a time coming that you think censorship is bad now. Just wait until President Trump or conservatives no longer in office. We're going to see a whole new level. We better be building now a way for us to get information to and share information with each other. And that's what you've done at yournews.com. I love it. How many people do you have contributing now? How many people like me over there?
Just under 6,200. 61.
Congratulations, man. Where were you when I first met you and we first started talking?
Well, under 1,000. So
I thought it was under 1,000. Look at you, man. You've been growing like crazy. And that's where the success is with social media or any kind of online news platform, is just sheer numbers. let's talk about YouTube compared to Rumble. Now, I love Rumble. Rumble has not deleted one of my shows. YouTube has given me 2 strikes and refuses to monetize me. So I'm all about Rumble, but as big as Rumble has become or is becoming, and I hope bigger, is nothing compared to YouTube, is it?
Nothing. Just you could look it up online. How many channels they call them channels? You have a channel on Rumble, you have a channel on YouTube. YouTube has over 100 million. The value of the digital property YouTube last month, they came out and said it's worth $1 trillion. It's part of Alphabet, so Alphabet's market cap is 2.4 or 6 trillion. I don't even know what the number is, but like $1 trillion of that comes from just YouTube. And then you have Rumble, which has, it's going to be interesting to see, because I understand how all these are valued, and Rumble's stock price has increased what I would consider significantly in the last month. But it's all based on creators. How many actual channels you have determines the value of a digital property. So if you look up, they have 250,000 plus. My guess is they're probably going to come out with whatever the news is, that maybe they have 300,000 or 400,000. Maybe. This is just a guess, because
compared to how many on YouTube?
115 million. Yeah. It's a gnat on an elephant's ass. It can't, like, the only reason Rumble exists is because YouTube allows it. I mean, that's it. YouTube doesn't care. It's like the people they threw off, to them were garbage. They don't ever want to see them again. Okay.
Yes, one of them.
It's because you didn't fit into their agenda, because their agenda is whatever the Democratic Party says. So even if you're a doctor with, what was it called? Frontline doctors? Is that what it is? Okay.
Frontline, yeah.
Where you're actually working on the patients, and you could say, I've actually was with 1,000 patients, and here's the result, and here's the best thing that worked. If it wasn't Remdesivir or whatever Fauci was touting, and you had something that was actually curing people, banned. Okay, you got banned.
Yeah, and that's the very first show that ever got deleted for me on YouTube when I first started. This was my show with Dr. Judy Mikovits, talking about alternative cures for COVID and so on.
As far as I'm concerned, YouTube
never forget, by the way, that YouTube is owned by Google.
YouTube is complicit in millions of deaths, because if you would have had that information, you would have changed gears. But when you have the experts being censored so that somebody could push an agenda like Fauci, and it turns out the guy actually was being paid for all this. I mean, now he pleads the fifth. Okay. Can you believe he wrote this down in his memoirs? I mean, this guy is just dumber than dumb. But will there be
on a government server?
Oh my God.
That's where he was writing his, that was where he was dictating his memoirs, was on a government server, not even his own private laptop or something.
So he pled the fifth. He's going to have many states going after him. He's probably going to get convictions by the states. I
want him in an orange jumpsuit. I want him in jail. And if I hear one conservative say, well, he's 85, we should probably take it easy on him, I swear I'm going to flick him in the Adam's apple or something.
So what conservative would ever say that?
A lot.
Well,
I've been hearing it.
Then they're not conservatives. Okay.
I agree.
The fact that matters is if I'm 80 years old, but I was able to kill 20 million people, is it okay because I'm 80 years old? Is that okay?
Should we have taken it easy on Joseph Mengele? I mean, come on. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of that, Sam. My frustration with my own side, my own peeps, is we are not supporting conservative platforms that have started up. Even President Trump, as much as we all love Trump, right? He starts up Truth Social. Let's talk about the numbers of Truth Social. How many creators are there on there? And there's I can't get traction over there. People don't seem to be going there. Why is that?
So it has nothing to do with supporting. What happened was Twitter kicked you off and a massive amount of other people that were conservatives. And Twitter was the 10,000-pound gorilla in the microblogging space. So what Trump tried to do was the same thing Rumble did and fill a void. And he actually did it. And 6 million people, so they're not creators on that site. They have account like anybody can be on Facebook or on X or on are on True Social. It's just
Right.
a microblogging site. But nobody could have ever anticipated Elon Musk buying Twitter. And that's what screwed Trump. That because it would still been liberal, they would have still been kicking people off, and True Social would have been a hub. But I'm going to give you numbers. People look them up. True Social has 6 million users, and X has 600 million. But which means that only 1%, True Social is 1% of the market, but 100% of the Truth Social people have an X account. So X runs the whole thing. In terms of microblogging, he has 100% of the market. And that's why there was never any traction. Now, if you remember, True Social was going to be part of Trump Media, right? Remember? And
Yes.
It was going to be a bunch of media companies, and he was
talking about starting up a network for him.
Oh, yeah. And then when Elon Musk bought Twitter, it changed everything because there was no market. True Social is only there because people made an investment in it, but you could get rid of it and nobody would even blink an eye. There's no demand for it, is what I'm getting at. Did
it go public? I'm sorry for interrupting. Did he
go
public?
They did, but it's not called Trump Media anymore. Now their business model is Bitcoin cryptocurrencies. So it's just rolled up into that.
But you can buy stock in True Social.
Well, not in True Social. You could buy stock in Trump Media or Trump. What is it? I'll look it up real quick. So, I have to see this. It's True Social is owned by what company? It's Trump Media and Technology Group. That's what it's called. The parent company, Trump Media and Technology Group, headquartered out of Sarasota, Florida.
It's a public offering, though.
It's a publicly traded company. I could say, what is TMTG's
current stock price? I'd love to know.
It is $8.47. TMTG. If I go to MarketWatch, I could look up the actual market cap of the company, TMTG, and it'll tell me the market cap. Well, where is it? Hold on. Let me see Trump Media. Let me try Trump Media. I don't see it coming up. Because it's called something else. Yeah. It's not called Trump Media anymore. It's called something else. That's why it's not coming up. Like, Rumble's market cap is, 4.13 billion right now. So it's worth, $4.1 billion, where a couple of weeks ago it was only worth 2 or 2.5. So it's jumped significantly. So remember, Charlie, you have all the tech giants that were funded by Silicon Valley. And who would have ever thought that they would have gone woke and they would have just started getting rid of conservatives and pushing an agenda from the Democratic Party? I mean, nobody could have ever saw that coming. But the thing is,
I disagree with you there.
I never saw it. I would have never thought it would happen.
I did, because all the people who are calling the shots at the very top are just flaming leftists.
Obviously, we know that now, but remember, it's not good for business. I mean, business, when you're talking about platforms, is the more users you have, the more content coming in, the more content, the more traffic. What they're doing is getting rid of it because money's not their focus. That's not, they don't care.
No,
that's the weird part.
Don't. You're right. Same with Hollywood, and Hollywood's been beat down because they've been making film after film of stuff we don't want to see, and it's all a bunch of woke crap. Disney comes to mind with Pixar and the whole Buzz Lightyear with the whole lesbian encounter and all this crap, and that movie that, thank God, failed. But they keep making them. They don't stop, and it's because it's an ideology. It's not about money anymore. They have plenty of money, and their theme parks, people keep flooding to them, including conservatives. Is one of their biggest supporters of the theme parks. That's propping up a network that's dead. ABC is so dead. When Disney bought them back in 1995, I was just like, oh, this is not going to be good. This is Disney is running a media company. Oh, well, I guess I guess we'll see what happens. Well, we've seen what's happened. People, clowns like Michael Eisner and Bob Iger and these pigs have just destroyed the legacy of it, and they don't care.
They don't care.
They keep making this stuff.
No, they've got more money than they'll ever be able to spend. And at this point in time, they're better than us, and they know better than us. And they're going to push an agenda. And, you know, it's much easier. I always say it's much easier to control 6 people or 6 institutions than it is to control, you know, 500 or 1,000 independent news outlets. So, you know, everything was consolidation, and, you know, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. So the reason we're in the mess we're in today is because of the mainstream media. No question about it, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And all that's changing because, you know, the average age of people watching cable news is in its early 70s, and the average person lives to 78 years old. That's, you know, look it up online. If I'm wrong, 79. I mean, but it's in that range. So none of the younger generation is getting information that way. They're all getting it on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube or any of the socials. And, you know, you're old enough to know back in the 80s or 1990, there was no Fox till 96. So we had CNN, ABC, and NBC, right? Was there anything else?
PBS.
Okay, that don't count. Okay, so, you know, so you're talking 3 networks, public or private networks, and this is where you got your information. Today, you know, TikTok and Instagram have over 100 million creators. YouTube has over 100 million. You have Rumble for options, which has 250,000. God knows how many people are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and whatever. The point is that everything is moving to creator-based platforms, and the younger generation is consuming news differently than we did 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
Unfortunately, so much of it seems to be they're forming their opinion based on others' opinions. These content creators, a lot of them are like me. I'm not a hard news guy. I'm not telling you this is the story and this is actually what happened. I'm not going out and gathering stories. I do that for the Army, but not here. Most of this is opinion. So if I sway anybody's mind, it is ultimately based on opinion, and that's where they're getting their news and all their information now is from people expressing opinion on stuff.
So people follow people that they resonate with and they trust them. And so people will listen to your show, and they'll, if they don't agree with you, they might say, I'm not sure about that one. But for the most part, they like the way you think and they resonate with you. And so they want your opinion on what's happening. Okay. But it could be Joe Rogan, but there's literally hundreds of millions of these people. So the world is changing, and it's really now a creator-based world where you have influencers that are influencing outcomes. And influencers could be somebody that does fashion stuff or somebody who does political stuff. It's all over the board.
Here's one thing I've noticed. There's a lot of startups that have tried to build networks, and they're basing what they're building now on something that is crumbling and failing that the left started. There's so many of them. I'm actually on a couple of those platforms, and they're struggling. They're struggling really hard. Even General Michael Flynn with this, what is that? Patriot
TV.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're even involved with it anymore. So, you know, Patriot TV they actually wanted to acquire me, and, you know, they were a public company, and I said that would be a mistake because, you know, I wouldn't be able to raise the capital. They had at the time, maybe a 10-cent stock price or 15 cents. Stock price on that, you saw it, was a 10.
No, we haven't seen it. Show us.
Okay. So hold on. Let me pull it up here.
Okay. Because I'm fascinated by this. I want to know why my fellow conservatives aren't going to these platforms. But then I realize I'm not going there either. I don't go there to watch stuff.
Well, I don't think that CBMJ or Patriot TV, I don't think they're even operating anymore. I know that I think somebody acquired it for whatever reason, but
it's less than a penny. The stock is now.
Well, here I'm gonna share my screens just so people can see it.
They went public. This is General Michael Flynn, and
it's been public for a long time.
His sister and several other investors. Trying to start another network is what they've been doing, an online network,
You see
providing
what I'm looking
content,
at?
providing content for we conservatives. Yeah, I'm bringing it on right now. Thought I was. Hold on a quick second.
Sure.
Give me a second. I got to remove something before I can bring something else on. That's goofy.
It just doesn't do it on its own, huh?
There it is. There it is. Okay, let's try and center that
Okay.
if we can.
So I don't really know what's going on with this anymore. It's conservative broadcast media and journalism. There's a guy that went to work as the president there. Can I want to get back to you so I could see you for a second. So I'm gonna stop
You
sharing.
actually want to see me? Oh, I'm flattered.
Yeah. So it's like
I went to a dermatologist, by the way. Look at all this crap all over. Look at
they're
this.
cleaning you up, so it'll heal and it'll look great. You'll look 20 years younger.
Sure.
So
Sure.
at the end of the day, here's the issue. Everything is moving to creator-based platforms. Rumble wouldn't exist except YouTube kicked people off and Rumble filled the void. Okay.
And Rumble's never claimed to be a conservative platform. The only claim they've ever made is we're open for everybody.
Okay.
And so a lot of conservatives are there, but we're not the only ones over there. I mean, there's some really wicked stuff.
Well, because they want more creators, because that's what drives audience. So
yeah.
for your audience, here's how things work. Platforms have creators, like Rumble has 250,000. Whereas something like Lindell TV, which Lindell tried to do, or Frank Speech, whatever you want to call it, he tried to do the whole Fox News.
That has never taken off. It's never worked.
Because he has 9 people. 9. I know at one point, like a year ago, Patriot TV had 19, but now I don't even think they have one. I don't think they have anybody. So here's the reason why. Just for your knowledge, Rumble last month had 52 million visitors. Okay, I had 1.58 million, almost 1.6 million. YouTube had over 3 billion people on the site. 3 billion.
Billion with a B.
Billion. So remember, if you have a platform that has 100 million people that have channels on your platform, they're all going to be telling everybody every day to go watch my show on my channel on YouTube. So you have 100 million people promoting it. And once the void was filled, when YouTube kicked everybody off, Rumble filled that void. There was no room left for Patriot TV or Brighteon or for Lindell or Frank Speech, whatever you want to call it. So if you believe that mainstream media is going to go out of business, and make no mistake about it, it is. The money goes where the eyeballs are. And when you have one guy, Joe Rogan, which is bigger than Fox, CBS, ABC, NBC, and MSNBC combined a day, he's bigger than all networks every day.
Yep.
You have to know something's changing. He could generate more revenue than all networks. And if you think of the cost to produce The Five with, what's his name, Greg Gutfeld, look up how much Greg Gutfeld makes. I think somebody told me it was $32 million a year. So,
son of a gun, are you serious? Jesse Waters too.
Waters probably in the same game. The point is they got like 100 million in payroll right there. And if you break that out over 365 days or however you want to financially do it, and then the lighting, the makeup people, the building,
it's union. It's union. They shoot out of New York and Los Angeles. It's all union. So the cost is exorbitant just for crew, just for the crew, not counting the cast.
Charlie, cost $1 million a show, and I'm making that up. It could be 2 million, and they have to recoup that in ad revenue, but their audience is diminishing. And then you have somebody like Joe Rogan is bigger than all of them. So the money goes where the eyeballs are. I don't care how you cut it or slice it. There were 3 billion people on YouTube. 3 billion. Okay, 3 billion in the last 30 days. They win, hands down. So the money's all going to these platforms. Google, YouTube, X, Instagram, TikTok. So why do you think the big tech giants own everything? The only thing they don't own is Rumble, and they don't own X, but they own everything else, right? I mean, what is YouTube part of? It's part of Alphabet. I don't know what Alphabet's market cap is, because I haven't looked it up, but the last I checked, it was 2.4 billion. It's probably like 2.4 trillion. It's probably 3 trillion now, and YouTube represents 1 trillion of that. So you can't compete with them is the point I'm trying to make.
When you say Alphabet, you're talking about the ABC,
Google.
CBS, NBC.
Google. No. I'm talking about Google. The parent company is Alphabet.
Oh, see, I had no idea. I did not know that.
Yeah, so
like Facebook is Meta, Google, and YouTube is Alphabet. Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, so all these big tech giants own everything, and so when you own everything, it's like owning. Let's say you own every bar in town. Does it matter where I go to have a drink? You're still making money. Right. So they own everything. So there's going to be a day where Facebook really just doesn't survive because people are bored with it because the younger generation just doesn't use it. So it's kind of an older crowd. But whatever the next thing is, Facebook will own it because they'll just buy it. Money's no obstacle, because imagine sitting with $1 trillion in the bank. You're just looking for what it is.
Where are these trust lawsuits? Where are these where's the trust buster serving in office right now, breaking up these tremendous monopolies? Facebook owns Instagram. You're right. They just buy anybody who's competition. Snapchat, Google, YouTube.
You're missing one big one.
What?
They buy congressmen. They buy senators. You want to know why this is allowed? Because we have the best Congress and Senate money can buy.
Money can buy.
There's nobody better. These guys have turned this into a business. We need to break this up. How much you giving me? Okay. They're good. They're good. Leave them alone.
Oh, good Lord. And the ones that have just a huge preponderance of cash where it's oozing out of their pores is Big Pharma. And that's propping. That's why Fox, you can't count on them to tell you the actual truth about COVID or anything else because they're owned by Pfizer. How many shows on there are brought to you by Pfizer? This is a huge corporate it feels to me like, of course, being a believer, being a follower of Christ Jesus, this is end time stuff. This is one world government, new world order, and they're going to usher that in any way possible, and they're going to try and get us on board and act and make us feel like we're grateful to have them taking over, because at least I'm entertained with my little YouTube cat videos.
We'll be dead long before that happens, Charlie.
You think we will?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, that ain't coming anytime soon. Not to mention, there's, how many people have guns in this country? Almost everybody. I mean, so it's the biggest army in the world. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. You really need to dumb down the population even further.
And that's what's happening.
And it's, but at the end of the day, you're going to have some people are stupid, some people that are smart. My personal take is I think when it gets to about 100 trillion in debt and the currency collapses, that's when they got problems. But that being said, that's just a guess, and I'm be dead long before by the time that happens, you and me will be in our hundreds. Yeah. So we got time.
The way I've lived, I don't think I'll make it that far, but thanks for the vote of confidence. So you are, to me, like Rumble. You're offering a platform. You're not saying this is just for conservatives. However, conservatives are more than welcome. Come on board. We got a place for you that you're not going to be doxxed and shut down and shut up and deleted. That's what yournews.com is. And I love it. And I thank you for it. How are you doing?
We have 6,000 creators now, a little more, getting close to 6,200. I'm interested in first of all, all the stuff we've ever seen and all these platforms that were coming out to try and compete, they never had a chance. Okay. I understood it. I knew it. All I'm going to tell you is this. Do you think as the age demographic gets older and dies, do you think Fox or CNN or ABC or NBC is going to survive? Okay. There's not even a remote possibility. It's all those are going the way of the dinosaur. So answer me this question. What's the difference between Fox News, not the name and not the people, just the business model? What's the difference between Fox and Newsmax? There isn't any, Charlie.
No, you're right. There really isn't.
And what's the difference between Fox and Real America's Voice? And what's the difference between Fox and One American News? They're all competing for that conservative audience. They're all on network television. You know, you can get them right on like a channel. And they have a panel and they do news. They don't have 100 million or 1 billion creators, okay? It's all that stuff's going to go away. Newsmax, which I don't even know what the market cap on that thing went from like, you know, it was like at $300. I don't remember what the market cap was, but it was in the hundreds of millions. And now it's down to next to nothing. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, because it was all fluff. At the end of the day, all that stuff's going to be gone and nobody really realizes it. I do. You should be shorting these stocks, if anything, because this is so easy. The newspapers, they're all going the way of the dinosaur. Well, if network television is going to go away, explain to me how Newsmax is going to survive, being the same thing. All the money is what supports the networks, correct? And it's all moving to creator-based platforms. The end. There is no that's just the way it is. So the only void, Charlie, that has not been filled is local news. And the reason that we're in this mess is because mainstream media has been either lying to us or not telling us things which you need to know. The reason for that is because somebody was paying somebody off. It had to be. Why would you lie unless you were getting financially compensated for it? And we all know they were through NGOs. Billions of dollars were going to Reuters. Billions of dollars was going to AP. Billions of dollars was going to other media outlets from our tax money across the globe to push a liberal agenda. It was going to NPR.
And it was effective. It shut people like us up because it made us think that we're in the minority now. Everybody else has lost their minds. Nobody feels the way we do. I think that was such a big part of it, is to isolate those who are on the conservative side of things and make them believe that no one else feels the way we do. And we're crazy for even thinking this. Just in their verbiage, just reading the story, just before I went on the air with you, let me share it real quick right here. Here it is. The way they write. Here we go. This is from HuffPost, Arianna Huffington, right? This is what they put out. Let me scroll up. There we go. Police arrest 22 people at far right. Pay attention to the verbiage. Far right Islamophobic rally in Michigan. This group of people, and they only show you one photo. That dude, you don't see a crowd shot. You don't see, well, am I seeing Nazi flags? What do you mean far right? Who are these people? What makes them far right just because they're speaking up against the proliferation? And this, by the way, Dearborn, Michigan. Police said Wednesday they arrested 22 people during an Islamophobic rally. There it is again, held a day earlier in Dearborn, Michigan, where Christian nationalists, led by January 6th rioter Jake Lang, are you catching these words? Surrounded the building where city council members were meeting. Officers, now, look, listen to this quote. Officers met a challenging and rapidly evolving situation with the professionalism this community expects, keeping everyone safe, protecting the constitutional right of those who came to be heard, and allowing the city council to complete its business, says Dearborn Police Chief Issa Shaheen, Muslim, in his statement there. Lang led this guy who supposedly put this whole thing together, led what was dubbed the Christian Crusader March, where he, Detroit pastor Lorenzo Sewell, and their supporters crowded the council's meeting space at the Henry Ford Centennial Library after officials moved from its usual location in anticipation of the rally. Hundreds of demonstrators outside the building tried to rush the doors. I don't know if that's true. They've said similar things in the media at things that I was at, and none of that happened. Shaheen, the police chief, declined to say whether those arrested were demonstrators. I'm sorry, what? Only that the individuals ranged in age from 18 to 64 and faced misdemeanor charges. Here's the big charges. Here's why they were arrested. Breach of peace, and disorderly conduct. How dare you stand there and let your voice be heard? I thought that was a constitutionally protected right. Many of those arrested came from out of state, including New York and Tennessee. Many? How many? How many? So let's go back to here's another quote. What you're seeing is a bunch of out-of-state agitators coming in defiance of the broad, incredible America that we exemplify here in Michigan, says Senate Democrat candidate Abdul El Sayed of the rally. Dearborn, Michigan now has one of the largest Arab American and Muslim populations in the country. That's your media. That's your media. That's your media.
So that came from who?
Huffington Post. Ariana Huffington. Post.
The only reason that even has any kind of traction is because Ariana Huffington was on a network and they used this to promote it. She built this and she sold it for something like $20 million.
And she was once married to Donald Trump, and they love to push her out there because she trash talks her ex-husband all the time.
At the end of the day, all that stuff is just, I call it whipped cream on horse shit. And that's all garbage. And it's never going to fly in the future. So right now they have people that are promoting that stuff. But what do you think is going to happen when all the networks are gone and all the terrestrial radio's gone? Because this is 4 or 5 years, Charlie. It's coming. Okay, well, you won't, when you turn on the networks, there won't be Fox or CBS or ABC. Unless somebody's writing the check, because no ad dollars are going to come in, because nobody's going to be viewing, because everybody's dead. Everybody. There's nobody going to be left. So the point is,
you mentioned something that's near and dear to my heart, because I've been involved in radio and television my entire life. Even before I was an adult, I started in the teens, and my favorite has always been radio. I've always loved radio and gravitated to radio more than television, just because I love the whole theater of the mind thing. It's just so fascinating to me. You said terrestrial radio is going to be dead in 5 years. That hurts my heart. I don't like hearing that. Okay, you think so? Why?
We already know why. It's because it's an antiquated product. Why do you think, what is it? It used to be Clear Channel. It's iHeart. Why do you think they have a network of podcasters? It's because that's where everything's going. So it's all under one umbrella.
And they're pushing it all the time on all their stations.
But that's the point. It's like you would be complaining if you built horse and buggies and I came on and told you, well, there's going to be automobiles and they're going to replace the horse and buggy. Well, horse and buggy, Sam, are dear to my heart. It doesn't matter. There's always a product that replaces something else. There's nothing you could do about it.
As long as I could have a radio in my horse and buggy, as long as I can have a radio in the buggy.
Yes, a radio. So it's just going to be streaming, Charlie. So the point is, all that stuff's going to be gone. And what's going to come out of it is going to be what I do. It'll be a hyper-local, citizen-powered press, completely decentralized. Remember, we live in a world of centralized media. And everybody saw the Sinclair Broadcasting where you have those 50 TVs saying the same thing at the same time, a threat to our democracy. So you know that it came from corporate, from the top down. It's all going to change. It's going to be completely decentralized, where you have independent reporting. And then I have people that tell me, well, how do you fact check everything? I don't fact check a thing. You don't have to. How does YouTube fact check everything? How does TikTok fact check anything? How does Instagram fact check anything? You can't. So here's what you do. The only thing is when somebody submits something and comes up for approval, we just make sure it runs to the proper subject and geography, but the marketplace will let us know.
And their AI is picking out keywords. I've already had 4. I'm new to TikTok. I've already had 5 of my postings deleted, and I violated some kind of community standard, and I got the warning on TikTok, which is no longer owned by that Chinese-owned corporation. I'm getting kicked off there too. I'm like, son of a gun. So it's all coming down to your news, yournews.com.
And this is, I look at all the crap that comes out and, everything from Public Square. I don't mean to offend anybody. It's just, there's never going to be such a thing as a parallel economy. That was all, as I put it, whipped cream on horse shit. It was never going to work. That thing had a $30 stock price. Now it's 30 cents. If somebody looks it up, it'll show 450. That's because they did a 15-to-1 reverse split. It was literally at 30 cents. They have to keep it over a couple bucks for the NASDAQ or whatever it's trading on. Otherwise, they'll pull them. So it's collapsing because it never had a business model. It was just a really poor idea that should have never went public. But this is what bugs the crap out of me. You had to be either, if you were promoting that, you had to be really stupid and not understand business, or it was a con.
And how many people were all excited to participate in the IPO, the initial public offering, like they did with SpaceX?
They raised over $100 million for that just on the IPO. Yeah,
sure.
Which means
it works. It does work. That's why they all do it. For now,
so then
it works for a moment.
Lindell, and I don't dislike Mike. I think Mike should have just kept the stick and pillows, to selling pillows.
I'm glad he's running for governor of Minnesota, and I hope he wins.
And I think it's great. I think he, is trying to bring some common sense to, a state that really needs it. But he should have never been in the media business. It's this whole thing is transitioning. When you tell me I'm in the media business, I am not. I am in the platform business. Just like if you and I built a football stadium, we don't play in the NFL. We own the stadium. We're called developers. We bring the teams in and people want to watch. You know what they do? They come out front. We sell them tickets. And when they come inside, we sell them beer and popcorn and hot dogs. That's the business I'm in. I have a platform. My niche is local news, which you can't put on TikTok and Instagram and Rumble and YouTube. It's the high school football game that is not on video that somebody wrote. It's the church bake sale. It's the bank robbery. It's the car crash. It's local news reporting that doesn't fit anywhere else. And that's that's the void I fill. And there's millions of them out of work. Millions. What?
I started an online radio station, country music, called Cowtown Country, cowtowncountry.us. It's not even there anymore. Don't bother looking. Go ahead, Spike. Spike wants to maneuver. He wants to get behind me now. There he goes. Okay, there you go, boy. Good boy. Anyway, I started an online country music station. Everybody was like going, yeah, terrestrial radio's going away. It's dying. Nobody's listening to radio anymore. They're getting everything online. Okay, fine. So all of we broadcasters thought it was a brilliant idea to start up online radio stations. Well, then you got the ASCAP, BMI, and however many 20 other licensing fee companies that are just pathetic and destroying music radio to where we can't even afford to stay in business because of the licensing fees. The only medium that I know that insists on paying artists every time something is looked at or watched or listened to. Nobody else gets that kind of privilege. You don't have to pay that carpenter who built the staircase into your house every time you use it. You don't have to pay the artist every time you look at their art piece. But in radio, they seem to think that you should have to pay for every time anybody plays a song, no matter how old it is or anything. And it's awful, and it's killing music radio, and it's killed online radio stations too, because we're getting hit. My station went away because we couldn't even make any money off of it. If we did, me and my buddy who started the thing, we had to pay the licensing fees if we made any money off of this online radio station. I'm now seeing on platforms like TikTok and Twitch.tv and so on, these alternative ones, people are doing radio stations on there. We got mixed DJs on there doing shows for hours and getting tens, hundreds of thousands of views. And I'm seeing all this moving over to, I'm wondering if there's a market at yournews.com for such a thing. And how do licensing fees apply when it comes to playing music on Your News? Well, if you were to start a radio station there, basically a radio station.
Well, we have audio and video, but it's all through embed codes. So we don't have to pay for anything. It's actually streaming from somewhere else. The creators decide, we can take audio, video, and print, but the creators are the ones that are responsible for their own content. So I don't really, my business is not music. It could be a show that has artists, like somebody could do, interviews with local artists or, national artists, and, they could have songs that they're singing on there, but that's all going to be done using either YouTube or Rumble, and we're going to take the embed codes. Remember, I don't fill a void for audio or video. That's already been done. You will never be able to compete with that market. And if YouTube ever wanted to get rid of Rumble, it'd be like that. Okay. All they would do is invite everybody back and tell them if they're on Rumble, then we don't want to do business with them. You can't come on our site and watch.
I've been thinking the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, Rumble is so insignificant that they don't even care. Okay.
How come Zuckerberg isn't learning that lesson? If he invited everyone back, I got kicked off there a little over a year ago for a little show I did about Pride Month and what a scam and sham that was. Obviously, it triggered the homo mafia in Silicon Valley. They deleted me from the Meta platform, period. I can't even start up another page. Facebook and Instagram took it away. Gone. 40,000 people gone like that.
Because they have 2 billion users, Charlie. They don't care if
they don't care. They just flat don't care. You're right.
They don't care. It's not for money. It's about control. Once you have enough money, the next thing you want is power. And they want and they will censor everybody that is against what they want. And if they want, and usually people that make a ton of money, all of a sudden they just become really stupid. And then they believe that, oh, we need to give to everybody. Well, not me, but everybody else needs to give to everybody. And if you're against what I'm saying, then I'm going to censor you. So it's strange how it works. And, talking about the conservative movement and, over the last 6 years and all the stuff that has come up, what's really left? With the exception of Rumble, what's really here that's of any significance? I'm going to tell you, nothing. There's nothing. Nothing has really survived that's really is going to compete with TikTok. And by the way, the only guy who had a chance was Donald Trump, and he failed because Elon Musk he bought the 10,000 pound gorilla and then opened it back up. So you can't compete with any of that stuff. Here's what I'm going to tell you. What I do is inevitable. What I do will become the next mainstream media. You really want this to be owned by the people, not the institutions. We currently have 6,000 news reporters. Watch what happens when it's 60,000 and then 600,000, which we have room for millions. If you use LinkedIn Navigator, there's 500,000 people that are advertising on LinkedIn that they're looking for jobs. They don't have jobs. Then you have the people that are just adding themselves daily. You have 250, 300,000 students that are coming out of school that nobody's hiring. And they will never get a job. You have PR people. There's roughly 4 million PR people in the United States, and there's 10 or 11 million nonprofits. So news organizations are aggregators. You know this. People that have news send press releases to the media. I'm the media in every market. So it's all about distribution of information. We can serve news to a city, a county, a market, state, regional, or national, but I could have millions of creators because of all the categories: sports, business, politics, entertainment, world, lifestyle, home and garden, travel. Charlie, I have people that write about wine. You can't put that stuff on YouTube or TikTok. It's written news. We have a food and wine section. I have people that do NASCAR, Formula One. I have people all across the board, local news in specific markets. I pick up people that do high school sports, which is now just getting started. So I'm in the process of building this. And watch what happens as we grow and it gets to 10,000 and 20,000 and 50,000 and 100,000. This is the next mainstream media. There's literally no chance I'm wrong. Okay. So it's either going to be me or somebody who creates the same product. We just happen to be the only player in the space. So as I try to explain to people, if you're not going to have a civil war to fix this problem, you need to own the next mainstream media. And that's what we're doing. And so this is why we're doing the equity crowdfund thing versus institutional money, because people would lose their mind if I went to BlackRock and Vanguard and took money from them. Okay. And they would. And I could tell you at this level, they would want to control it.
And rightly so. They would be upset.
Yeah, they would be. I agree. So
guys like me, I'd be going, I'm not going to support this.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm just going to place a bet. I'll get this to 50,000 creators in 24 months. I'll get a buyout offer I'll get offers from some of the tech giants. It'll happen because you'll have 50,000 people that have links out there all over the place, and that'll catch somebody's attention. The example would be a friend of mine called me yesterday and said he was looking up people to vote for in Palm Beach County, and 2 of the articles were from your news. He found he goes, it just came right up. And he wasn't looking on my site. He was looking on Google, and it was indexing and serving up my articles. So imagine I have some creators that have 250,000 followers on X, some that have 100,000 on Facebook. I just picked up a new creator. It's got 100,000 on TikTok, 101,000. So these creators bring me their audience. It's not because they like me. They're just using my platform for distribution and for monetization. So I'm just the facilitator. It's up to them to build their own audience and monetize it. They just use me for distribution and monetization. So what were you going to say? Because I think
I was going to say to other media people like me, he monetizes, he shares in the advertising with you, like YouTube does, like Rumble does. And he's just getting started. So you're not going to get wealthy off of it. But the simple fact that he offers that sets him apart. That makes me want to see you grow and do better, because you're helping me grow and do better.
Well, the thing is, you want me to get to 100,000 creators, because those 100,000 creators will drive 20, 30 million people. And that means there's 20 or 30 million people that now have access to Charlie's content and everything else, right? My niche is the ability to publish news right down to a specific locale, like a city or a county, because news is city, county, market, state, regional, or national. So it's all about distribution of information. So the scale with me is, I think we could have about 50 people a city. So with 20,000 cities, you're talking 1 million monetized news reporters. That's how you drive traffic. The creators, you could have somebody that does fashion in New York, and somebody else that does home and garden in New York, and somebody else that does health related news in New York, and somebody else that does science and technology, and somebody else that does business. If you're talking New York, do you have any idea how many high schools there are in New York? Because I don't, but it's in the hundreds, probably 300, 400, 500. How many high school football games are going on? How many?
That's another thing that sets Sam apart. Because you can hyper local, you can go hyper local. Just put in your zip code and get stories just from your area.
It comes in daily. So currently we bring in 10,000 stories a month.
I don't know any other platform that you can do that, by the way.
There is
you can get your local people contributing news and information just by putting in your zip code on that platform and getting just your focused in your area kind of news reports, and including high school football games like he's talking about. I don't know anyone else that does that.
Because there isn't any.
There isn't. I didn't think so. I've never heard of anyone else doing that. So I think that's brilliant.
Watch when we get to 50,000 creators. I think that's going to be the point where I get buyout offers from the tech giants. If I take it, which I'm not, but if I were to take it, you are all screwed, because all they're going to do is scale it. And I'll walk away with a fortune, but all they're going to do is scale it. And then once they get it big enough, they're now going to use it for their agenda that they're going to be pushing.
They'll keep things as they are for now.
Yeah. So this will be the next mainstream media. So what we need to do is we need to get it to a publicly traded company and let the public own it. You need to have me have at least 51% when that happens, so that now nobody can acquire it and change the game. And that's what I've got set up. So normally if I were to raise capital for something like this, I would go to institutional money, because they're the ones that have it all. And they're looking for the next opportunity, right? Private equity, family offices, hedge funds, things of that nature. They're looking for things like this. The problem is, if you get that money at this level, they will want to have control. So we're doing something called an equity crowd fund, which is different. It's done through a brokerage firm. Like we had to do audits, background checks, like you're going through a broker dealer. But when you're buying private placement, so this would be like buying Facebook before it went public, early stages. You could only be an accredited investor, which represents 1% of the population. Equity crowd funds, 100% of the population can participate, but they're limited to what they can do. You have to actually.
This is how Angel Studios built up to where they are now.
It's the same exact thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So now you could have the masses. Well, what I want at least 3,000. We're at about 350 or close to 400, investors, but I want to get this to 3,000. And investors, I think the average person puts in about $1,200, but people do 300 and people do 30,000. I had one guy put in 100. I just had a wire come in for 50,000. So it depends on the size of the person and what they want to participate with. But the beauty is the little guy can participate, whereas you could never participate in Facebook. You could never participate in Twitter. You couldn't participate in eBay, Google. All that stuff went to who? The people who didn't need the money, the institutions. And then they took that money, they scaled these things into behemoths, and then who did they sell it to? They sell it to all you. And so the money, the real money, was made with the people buying the stock for $1 or $2 and selling it to you for 100. That was the real money. And that's how these work. So we've decided to do the equity crowd fund. It's working really fine. I finished one equity crowd fund on a different platform. I moved to another platform called Highlander.ai. People see it in the link. Their customer service is better. But a platform, it's still a brokerage firm. A platform for investing is all regulated through FINRA. What were you going to say?
Highlander.ai is an investment.
It's an equity crowd fund site. So it's owned by a brokerage firm. You can't do this stuff unless you're licensed by the SEC and FINRA. So it's all governed and regulated. So like when if you wanted to raise capital, if let's say you had a good idea and you wanted to raise money and you want to do it through an equity crowd fund, you'd have to spend all the money to do an audit, which, if you're a startup, it would be cheap, but audits could cost, $10,000 and up. You're going to have a background checks on all the principals, because when you're going through a broker dealer, the broker dealer is liable. Like if I turn out to be some criminal and I'm stealing things, the brokerage firm has to pay everybody back. They're going to be sued.
And that's supposed to be the advantage of doing something that's licensed through the FTC and to avoid another Bernie Madoff, basically.
Yeah. So, all
give you a little more level of trust, I think, hopefully.
That's all it is. But, this allows everybody to be able to participate. So this round, I'm doing a small one. I wouldn't be surprised if I had it completed here in the next 60 days. Then I'm going to do another one that's going to be a little bigger, probably $1.2 million. That one, I'm probably going to jump the price from $2 to $3. So between the two, that's about $1.5 million. We're going to invest at least at the most $500,000 into tech. The rest is going to go to onboarding content creators at scale and marketing to business owners and start building the foundation. And for those of you who don't know, and I was explaining this to you, Charlie, the way platforms are valued is that they're all valued based on how many content creators they have. So we had this conversation. A platform has a way for people to upload. Doesn't matter if it's YouTube or Rumble or TikTok or Instagram. They have a way for people to be able to share content on socials, and you could share to Facebook or whatever you want. They have a way for you to follow an author, a specific person, like somebody could follow you on Rumble. And they have a self-service ad platform. Correct? Other than that, name one other thing. I mean, there's nothing else. So my platform has all of those. It has the same thing. But if you have a platform that has all of that and you don't have one person using it, it's worthless.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
You can't sell any ads. You're not going to sell. So the value is based on the creator base. And the way you come up with the number, because Wall Street has already set the number, you take the market cap of the company and you divide the creator base into it. So I'll give you an example. It's hard to do YouTube because it's owned by Alphabet, which their market cap is like 100 companies. But YouTube was just valued at $1 trillion. And all you have to do is look up how many channels does YouTube has over 100 million. So it's about 10,000 a person is what they're valued at. Rumble last week had a $2.5 billion market cap, and they have 250,000 channels. So it's 10 grand a person. But Rumble just jumped to 4.1 or 2 billion. So that's a big jump in a week. I mean, to go from 2.5, and if it hits 5, I mean, it's basically a 100% increase. Maybe they got more content creators. I don't know. Maybe that's going to be coming out, because if they have 400,000 content creators, well, that would make sense.
There's so many things I'd love to see them do with that money. I've seen changes that you have made and things that you're doing and plans you have to expand even further, like being able to go live, which would be nice.
That'll be an app. So one of the things we're going to be creating, because you have to keep upgrading tech. So we have an app that a consumer could use to read news. What we don't have is an app for the content creators where they can actually do a story right on the spot, either audio, video, or written news. And they can video something as it's happening and then upload it directly to the site. So that's one of the things, one of the features we're going to be doing. So part of the capital raise is going to be to create a better product that's more scalable.
Exactly my point. And I'm not seeing Rumble do that. I thank God for Rumble. I'm glad they're there. I put all my eggs in the Rumble basket, honestly. But you can't use it as a search engine like you can on YouTube. Some subject matter. I want to know more about the Sig Sauer P365. So I put that in the search, and it's not going to pop up like on YouTube. All the shows and videos that have been done about that will pop up there that you can go and watch, but Rumble doesn't do that. It's real hard to be able to fast forward through or go back with their bar that moves back and forth to where you are, the timeline. It's hard to do that. There's a lot of things that I'd love to see Rumble improve.
They never raised $1 billion. They didn't have the tech, so they have to. It's slow growth, right? I mean, they have a market cap, they have capital to be able to do this stuff, but they also have a foundation already built. So like they may be creating a whole new platform that they'll migrate over to, because like with mine, you know, there's things that you want to integrate, but you can't integrate because it's like building a 20-story building and going, wait, on the first floor, I want you to add a bathroom. Well, you can't do it. You know, you have to knock the building down to do it. So maybe they're in the process of building a completely different platform.
Okay, interesting. And hopefully it'll be a smooth transition over, because a lot of times stuff goes away when you do that.
It's technology.
Yeah. I hope it'll be a smooth transition. I hope that they're doing that. I really do, because I want them to do well. I want them to do well.
You and me
I
both.
made an early decision, especially after YouTube gave me 2 strikes and kept deleting shows. And I'm like, my future's not there. Even though that's where the money is. A lot of people are wealthy from YouTube, content creators wealthy from YouTube, and most of it's just stupid and inane, but that's what attracts people for the most part, unfortunately. But I put all my eggs in the Rumble basket. I made that conscious decision. I'm going to stick with this, and I'm just going to grow with it. And I'm doing all right. I'm up to 8,300 followers now on Rumble, I think, and
that's,
you know,
fantastic.
I'll get some good views and so on. But if I were over on YouTube and actually concentrated on that, there'd be no comparison. But they're shadow banning me. They're blocking me. I don't get any attention. I don't get any. They don't share anything that I do. They don't support what I do. So
Charlie,
forget it. Forget you. Screw YouTube. Screw Google.
I have a woman that works for me, and she handles, like, we have an Instagram account, but she has one that's mirrored. And on her account, she told me that she's up to 400,000 people that follow her. And she has a couple of interns, and the interns they would follow her on this, and all of a sudden Instagram would kick them off of following, and they would have to go back in and refollow. And it kept happening and happening and happening. So what Instagram is doing, because they don't like her message, is they're unfollowing people, like, where they don't even know it. So let's say you followed somebody you liked. Well, it just kicked it off randomly, and you don't.
And that's AI doing that now. Zuckerberg was bragging about, well, we got rid of all the fact checkers. No, you didn't. You turned it over to AI, and they're still doing every bit as much, if not more so, and it's even far more efficient.
I don't even know what to say, except that guy is a flaming liberal. Okay, and I'm not a big fan. What we need to do is we need to control the next mainstream media, Charlie. It's either that, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if you don't, you're going to go back to the same problem you had before. What happens is when you have a decentralized press and everything runs, eventually people aren't going to commit the crimes they were committing. When you have documentation, I don't care on a local level or a national level, of somebody committing crimes, you're never going to get a network television station to air that, simply because there's too much ramification. But if somebody in Sacramento had documentation of some city council member or mayor that was doing things that were criminal, that stuff's all going to be that stuff's all going to run. And the issue with that is you can't put the genie back in the bottle. That's the key.
And most media platforms, social media platforms, all they have to do is, some little higher up or whatever, contact that company and go, yeah, we don't want that on there. And they'll pull it right off. We saw that during the Biden administration. It's all coming out. And even some of them admitted it, but that they were getting paid not to run stuff.
I had people, I had somebody in Philadelphia that was threatening me with a lawsuit for getting stuff down. And I said, so I reached out to the content creator because they're responsible for the stuff. I said, here's the email I got. And we jumped on a Zoom call and he goes, let me get so-and-so on. And he gets so-and-so on. And he was looking at me like in shock. So he said, Sam, it's all public information. The guy beat his wife. He was arrested for hitting his wife. And I think he had a DUI and he's running for political office. These guys are reporters. They just reported on the facts. And so when he was hesitating, I'm like, what is he doing? It's because he was in shock. Like, how does this is public information. We just got it right for the records from the municipality. So, and the guy's not threatening me anymore because they sent him off the documents going, go ahead, sue us for putting out the facts.
A lot of that, though, is you have the wherewithal and the knowledge and the financial resources to be able to have people to advise you to go, yeah, just ignore this. This is ridiculous. A lot of us, we content creators, we get threatened like that. That's what the whole Stop Nick Shirley Act is about in California. There's a huge rally coming up this Wednesday, August 26th at the Capitol building. Pastor Jack Hibbs, there's going to be Nick Shirley is going to be there.
I just don't know why.
And it's all about fear and make us afraid to even report on all this kind of stuff.
500,000 news reporters need to all have assignments in California once they pass this to go out there and start reporting. Listen, 500,000 people.
You said that last time. And they go after you, sue them.
Now, we're committing a crime here. I got $1 million says they don't arrest 500,000 of us. Okay?
Right.
It's never going to happen. And so they need to have assignments like where they know where the bodies are buried, so they could go in and say, we're reporting on this, we're reporting, and walk in the damn door. By the way, can I get your quote on this? I mean, I see you're stealing a lot of taxpayer money, and the governor here is well on board with it. So tell him how you thank him for what he's doing for you.
Thank you. Speaking of algorithms and speaking of trying to gain some traction in this online world of media, algorithms are a very real thing. And if you hit that like button for me, wherever you're watching right now, you hit that like button. That has a tremendous influence on the algorithms. And then rumble.com/do not talk and all the other platforms we're on right now will start promoting me and this show just by hitting that like button. So if you could do me that favor, I sure would appreciate it. And it's even bigger if you comment down below, 5 words or more, though. Otherwise, it counted as a bot. And here's another thing I just learned from my buddy Mike Cook. These trolls who want to see us shut down and shut up because their religion is worshiping the government and they hate us. They are finding guys like me and going to our shows and our pages, and they're hitting the thumbs down on any positive comment there is. And that affects the algorithms as well in a very negative way. And so anybody comment? Please hit their comment with a thumbs up. These are the things that we're battling against here in the wicked world of media that's against anybody who speaks out and has some common sense. I always enjoy talking with you so much. I hope everyone else is as interested in this as I am, because that's my livelihood. It's been my life all my life. And this is all I know. And I love it. And I'm so glad to have a place on yournews.com. You can always find me there. And obviously thousands of others. And you put in your zip code and you can get your local news stories like you used to get from the newspaper and the local television stations. They don't have the staff anymore. They don't really even report on local stuff so much anymore. The bigger markets will, but the smallers, they don't. They don't have the staff. They don't have the money. They don't have the advertising to be able to buy and have more staff. They're barely hanging on. They're barely hanging on. So yournews.com. And Sam, we can, as he told you, you can invest in that. How do we do it, Sam? Where do we go?
If you're interested in learning more, you go to yournews.com, go to the bottom of the page, and you'll see a bunch of tabs. One says invest. You click that, it'll take you to that Highlander.ar page on there. There's about a 7-minute video which explains this whole thing. You could read about it. If you like what you see, you can make an investment right there. Anybody interested in becoming a news reporter, a local news reporter, remember, how many people on YouTube actually went to broadcast journalism school? I mean, percentage-wise, 0, right? So YouTube created a platform where anybody could be a broadcaster. We created a platform where anybody could be a news reporter. And somebody said to me, aren't you afraid of quality control? I mean, where are you going to get it? I said, do you watch mainstream media? Anybody could do better. Okay, anybody could do better. All you got to do is tell the truth. And AI, which everybody says AI is going to take over the news. No, it's not. It's a tool. And you use AI to get the story that you want by plugging in the information that you want it to say. And once you get it the way you like it, you could submit that stuff and you could actually get paid for it. So there's a become a citizen journalist there where you could watch a video and a couple videos and you could fill out an application. But the investor piece, we're going to start knocking out real quick. I want to start scaling this because the timing is now. When you're talking to people that signed up to become news reporters, they're listed on their LinkedIn page as I'm already working for a news outlet. And when I call them, he says, they're not paying us anymore. Okay. What does that tell you? The whole thing is imploding. It is imploding. And it's all, this is, I'm telling you, watch what happens.
I'd forgotten about that. You told me that. We were talking on the phone just the other day. You told me that.
Yesterday.
Expand on this. Expand on that.
So people sign up, and a lot of times I do marketing and they sign up because they saw my ad. Well, this guy found me on LinkedIn, but didn't see an ad. He actually just was looking around for, news reporting, and I think maybe my page came up and he started looking around. Then he immediately filled out the application to become a citizen journalist. And I reached out to him because he lived where I used to live years ago. We're very close, 30 minutes away. And he had a job at Heartland Newsfeed, I think is what it was called, which is owned by Heartland Publishing or Press or something like that, which small Midwest newspapers, don't ask me how many, it could be 2 or 22 or 200. I have no idea. But I said, will the newspaper allow you to contribute to another website when you're contributing to their newspaper? He goes, they're not paying us anymore. I went, who's us? He goes, everybody. Like, I'm thinking him. No, we're not paying anybody. So obviously they got financial issues, but it's the beginning to the end. This is what I keep trying to tell everybody, Charlie. What I do is inevitable. It is inevitable. What's going to replace mainstream media is going to be what I do. It's going to be a hyper-local, creator-based platform where people can report local news all over the United States and all over the globe. It'll be global. It'll have a social component where the public can interact, and a self-service ad platform, along with a monetization model. And we're already in business. We're already operating. We already have 6,000 news reporters. And watch what happens when we have 60,000. Remember, I told you they're worth 10 grand a piece. The value of the digital property is 60 million right now. Watch what happens when I get it to 50,000. That's 500 million. Watch what happens when I get it to 100,000, which we will. That's $1 billion. That's all I'm going to say.
And you can buy in now, be on the ground level.
Yes.
I love it.
We'll get there. Yeah. And we're the only players in this. There is nobody else. So the key
yournews.com, yournews.com.
It's just, for the sake of the country, this is what saves the country if you don't want a civil war. You need to control the next mainstream media. I can't explain
exactly what I've been saying.
You either get a civil war or you control information. You ever hear the expression, information is power? You ever hear that expression? Okay. Sure. He who controls all the information has all the power. You want that power dispersed to the people. So the people control the press, not one guy. And that's the most important piece, because now stories that would have never seen the light of day, Charlie, are all of a sudden going to start shining. And basically,
are we people in the media? This is scary as hell. scary as hell.
What
But
I do?
what you do is giving us light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh yeah.
So thank you for being there. Thank you. This is a hard time to be in the media business. And so, like I said, it's all I've known and it's what I love. And I want to keep doing it. But
you are. It's
and I am.
You just have a different way of distribution. You're doing it via the internet.
Yeah.
So you're doing, I don't know if you do audio, but you certainly do video. And your distribution model is the internet. It's no longer the airwaves. That's all it is. So it's just how people consume things that's changed. But think of what your physical cost is to do this show today. It's almost zero, Charlie. I mean, it's just your time. I mean, whereas if the five that, the physical cost to do that show is $1 million an episode. Okay.
Per episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you and I get on this and we're having a conversation and the cost in it is nominal. I mean, it's nothing. So that's what they're competing against. So if you build your audience to where you have 100,000 viewers, you have the ability to be able to monetize that and make money off of it. And you will. And the beauty is the networks are selling the ads. So if you take a content creator that comes onto my platform, they're doing written news. So I have somebody that does NASCAR, and she probably brings me 10 or 15,000 people a week that are clicking her links from social, and they're all NASCAR junkies. Okay. The point is that the platform sells the ads on the page and it produces money for her. She gets a percentage because she drove the traffic.
Right.
That's how it works. That's how YouTube works, how Rumble works.
It's invaluable. It's invaluable. I hope if you're a content creator, that you'll take advantage of it. And I hope if you're just somebody watching, interested in the future of media, that you'll invest in it. You'll be a part of it because you'll be glad you did later on. That's for sure. This is kind of like this. You know what this reminds me of? Back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, and I was making a lot of money and doing extremely well. And I had people and banks offering, they would send me checks for like $50,000, $100,000. All you have to do is sign it and you're already pre-approved. It was ridiculous. Money makes more money, right? And my downfall financially was 2 divorces and 2008 real estate crash, and all my money was in real estate. But anyway, the point is there was this stock offering for this new startup company called Blockbuster, where you could actually go and rent videos and buy in now, Charlie. This is the bottom line. I'm like, that'll never work. I don't want to make that mistake again. All right, so you're Blockbuster now, buddy. But
it's the truth. I mean, look, there's always something that replaces something else. And what replaced Blockbuster? It was Netflix.
Netflix. And you know why? Blockbuster wouldn't go to DVDs. I saw a documentary on the whole thing, the creation of Blockbuster, what they went through, how it started, who started it, and then Netflix, how Netflix was offering DVDs, and Blockbuster said, yeah, that's a fad. It'll never work. Blu-ray, what is that? So they wouldn't offer them. And then by the time they started, it was too late. Netflix had already gone to the mailing out movies on DVDs and so on. That was brilliant. Now everything's online. Like Sam.
And now that's what's going to destroy Hollywood, because they have distribution.
They deserve it.
Global distribution. Think about it. So there's no reason to go to a theater. I'm still in shock that people actually go to these things.
I still do. I'm one of those guys. I love it. I love the whole experience. I love it. But it's harder and harder to find stuff that I actually want to go see. Wow. What a great conversation, man. Thanks for giving me the time. Sam Anthony, yournews.com, and he's invaluable. So I hope you'll realize that.
See.
Thank you, my friend.
Well, just wait till I get this thing to the point of we're going public, and then you could tell me I'm invaluable, and my answer to you is going to be, "You're damn right I am." You're welcome.
Damn right I am.
so
all right, partner.
We'll
I'll talk to you soon. Keep in touch. All right, man. I love that guy. He's a blast to talk to, both on the air and off. And someday I hope to actually get to meet him and shake his hand. He's on the other side of the country. I've never actually met him. Been doing shows with him though for years now. And you'll find me on that platform as well at yournews.com. You'll find me, by the way, this QR code right here that's in the corner that kept cutting off part of Sam's head. That is to nueva.com. That's a new company, about a year old now. It's all natural product, American made, and it's for your skin, your body, energy drinks. There's some, this is one thing I got now, and I just absolutely love it. Let me show it to you. And it's so simple. And I'm doing their weight loss thing too. It's working. It's exciting. This is Nueva Biotic. It's like a prebiotic kind of thing. And here, I'll do it. I'll show you right now. It's kind of like Pop Rocks. Remember Pop Rocks in the 80s? Old guys like me, raise your hand for Pop Rocks. Here it is. This is what it looks like. This little thing right here. You tear it open. It was like a John Wayne move right there, wouldn't it? Pour it on your tongue. Let it dissolve. Probiotic. Tastes great. This one's strawberry. This is the kind of stuff they have there. Nueva.com. I'm using it, and I'm very happy. I'm very excited about the results I've been getting. Feeling healthier, far more energy, much more clarity. If you watch me for a while now, you know I can stumble and fumble every now and then. Now, bam, bam, bam. I'm back at it. Feel like I'm back in my 30s. So, not the 1930s, my 30s. So, go to Nueva. Just hit this QR code, and or use my name as a promo code and get 10% off. Charlie Simons, CharlieSimons, as a promo code for 10% off, or just hit that QR code and it'll take you right to my particular page, show you everything that's offered. What do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? Come on, try it. You can do it. Put your back into it. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America. But most importantly, America, bless God. That was a kick. I had a good time. I hope you did.
Oh, of course I did. I always do when I'm on with you, Charlie. Hey, by the way, so